Bullshit.
It's the No BS Marketing Show. This episode's part 2 of my presentation to graduating seniors at Point Park University. Episode 1 focused on goal setting, overcoming adversity, and defining their passion. Episode 2 moves into my introducing them to Gary V. Yes, I was surprised that none of them had heard of Gary Vaynerchuk. I gave a quick overview of his inspirational marketing and entrepreneurial story, then highlighted how important it is that they stay current on marketing trends and listen to thought leaders like Gary V and others. I also pointed out that they need to be open to change in order to truly achieve personal and professional growth. Hope you enjoy it. Now, I want to tell you a couple of the things of how you can change, but I want to go to a second story, my second major story. What if you all, right now, when you graduate, go back to the family business and you convince your dad, who owns the family business, to make the biggest marketing investment he's ever made into a new technology? Okay? You do it. You're pumped, right? You're ready. And then 3 years later, it failed miserably. How would you feel? What would your dad or mom do? That's what happened to Gary Vaynerchuk. How many of you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Okay, this is another major point if you're taking notes. You all need to find thought leaders and you need to follow them. Gary V is me on steroids. Look up Gary V, Google him. And then this leads to my next question. How many of you listen to podcasts? Great. Pretty much all of you need to listen to podcasts because it's content on demand that you can listen to when driving, when lifting weights, when jogging, when riding a bike, when cooking, whatever you like to do, that you have audio around you. And then you can absorb stuff for fun, for personal growth, and for career growth. So that's another takeaway. Start listening to podcasts. I know you don't like to read books, so do Audible. And I'll get you a free book. Go to audibletrial.com/nobs. audibletrial.com/nobs. She's writing it. Nobody else is. Look, only the Gen Xers writing it. Now, what's wrong with this picture? audibletrial.com/
I'm a millennial.
She's a millennial, my bad. audibletrial.com/nobs, and you can get your free Audible. You get a free book, and you're signed up. So let's say you don't do that because that costs money, and you're at the point in your life where you have the least amount of money that you ever had. Podcasts are free. Start podcasting. And by the way, go to your favorite podcast, little purple button on iTunes if you don't have anything else on your iPhone or on Android, and go to No Bullshit Marketing. But see, iTunes kicked me out. Got me some street cred. I got kicked off of iTunes because I had the word bullshit. So they made me. I had the word bullshit, but as you can see, and again, whoever signs up gets a chance to win this stuff. So you got to at least subscribe to my podcast. So I have it like this, right? Okay. Told my designers, I said, go make bullshit not really be bullshit, so I don't get in trouble with people when I put a sign, I sponsor something at a game or something. So I put this on iTunes, and they let me on for a little while. And I get this email that says, you have been banned from iTunes. I was like all excited. I told my kids, I was like, hey, I got banned from iTunes, man. My sons were like, what? I'm like, yeah, I got banned. You thought I was like old and tired. I'm banned. Yeah. So then I said, how the hell do I get off this ban? So they said you have to put asterisk. So when you look it up, you can either look up Mastovich, M-A-S-T-O-V, as in Verizon, I-C-H, or No Bullshit. But you have to hit the asterisk. So it says like, no B, asterisk, 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 T. That's what they made me do. So there you go. But beyond my podcast, Gary Vaynerchuk, but Gary V for short, is someone you need to listen to because you need to listen to thought leaders. Now, I encourage you to read as well. And I realize that's a tougher battle at this age. But reading is it. Reading is the difference. Reading is why I'm where I'm at today. And trust me, I was you. I was a social, crazy person. I partied a ton. I played 3 sports. I played in college. I played in Europe. I am not a bookworm by any means. I didn't tell people I was reading. but I was reading the whole time I was growing up. And reading is why I'm where I'm at today, because so few people read. So few people even stand. So if you read, that's a big advantage. But I realize that's a tough sell to a 20-year-old. So podcasts are an option. Well, Gary Vee is the guy I told you. He is, his dad is, his parents are Russian, but he was born here. I think he came here when he was 6. So, yes, he came here when he was 6. And Gary Vee, I share a lot of his passions. When I was a kid, I sold anything I could sell. He sold baseball cards, things like that. And financed his way through college, gets done with college. And his dad had started out working at a liquor store. They saved and lived in a poor situation because they saved every penny, and his dad bought the liquor store. So his dad owns the liquor store, and Gary Vee's you. He's your age. Comes back and says, Dad, I got this thing. We're gonna use this thing called the internet. We're gonna market wine on the internet. His dad said, okay. And he said, Dad, what's the marketing budget? And he goes, nothing really. And he says, well, we need $15,000. His dad goes, what? We haven't spent $15,000 in marketing over a 5-year period. Gary Vee convinces his dad to spend $15,000. He gets excited, he puts it on the internet, he starts using it for internet advertising and doesn't sell anything. Nothing at all. His dad's like, what the heck did you learn in college? What's wrong with you, son? But Gary Vee didn't quit. He continues to study the internet in its early years, and he realizes that he can sell stuff on here. Selling rather than advertising. In fact, the way he stumbled upon it is his passion was selling baseball cards. When he was a kid, he would make about $1,000 a month selling baseball cards at shows. He started seeing that within 5 minutes on the internet, he could be in a chat room talking about baseball cards. He begins to build an online presence of selling wine. Then this thing comes out in 2006 called YouTube. And Gary Vee says, I am going to create videos about wine on YouTube, and I'm going to push it through all these channels I have via the internet. And he takes a $3 million business that his dad had, $3 million in annual sales, not profit. $3 million in annual sales, probably a 20% margin. So his dad was doing pretty well. He'd grown this business from nothing, from being the guy who swept the floor at the liquor store. And Gary Vee's dad's business goes from 3 million to 50 million in 3 years. So Gary Vee realizes that making YouTube videos and selling wine isn't really his passion. His passion is gaining attention and influence for ideas. So attention and influence is what Gary Vee's all about. And I tell you his story because you need to be listening to thought leaders, and you need to be figuring out what your passion is. And you need to tie that passion to this. This is what you need to tie your passion to. Not just the internet, but mobile. Somehow tie your passion to mobile and getting the attention and influencing people through that attention is what's essential for you when you get into the workplace. I should have asked you all what your majors were, and I didn't because Steve and I were sweating walking over here and forgot to ask. But what's your
SAM.
Okay. Okay, so you know that you're going to need to be able to reach people in whatever job you get quickly, and you have to get attention and influence. So the Gary Vee example is threefold. One is you should be listening to podcasts. Two is you should be finding thought leaders that you can listen to on podcasts, that you can get their newsletters. You can go see them speak when they're doing keynotes. And Gary Vee is an excellent one because Gary Vee will challenge you. He challenges me. I listened to it on the way into that. I was like, man, I do keynotes. I do speaking across the country as well. I speak mostly to C-suite people. And what is C-suite people? You have to know terms like these. Does anyone know what the term C-suite stands for?
Like the higher ups, the executives.
Yes, because that begins with a C. My positions were typically chief marketing officer. That was my position at multi-billion-dollar companies. There's a chief executive officer, which is what I am now, of a much smaller company. There's chief operating officers, chief technical officers, and chief financial officers. So the C-suite is who makes the decisions. So with a marketing firm, not an ad agency, not a firm that does creative, we're doing strategy and implementation. I have to talk to the C-suite, because if I talk to the chief marketing officer, that can work sometimes, but a lot of times they're saying, well, I already have an agency. And I'm like, no, we're not an agency. So I do speaking to the C-suite. Gary Vee does speaking across the world to all kinds of groups of us, people that are creatives, people that write, people that produce content, people that sell. You have to find thought leaders like that you enjoy. So you're not going to hit the home run the first time. Some of you might listen to Gary Vee. You might listen to him and say, he puts me to sleep more than Dave has this morning. Right? You might say that. So that's okay. Go get the next one. Go to Tim Ferriss. Go to somebody else. But you need to be looking at these thought leaders and trying to decide which ones you're comfortable with so you can listen to them and learn from them. And I stress the listening because it's quicker and easier for you. Ideally, you'd be getting these blogs and email blasts from people that are thought leaders too, and you'd be scanning those. But I'm saying if you get to where you're using the podcast and just pop it on when you're bored one day driving, you get a 20-minute podcast done, you got 5 ideas and you heard it, it's that much stronger. And then the other reason why I told you about Gary Vee is attention and influence. It's very different from what the baby boomers did and the silent generation. They did selling and telling. When we were coming up, the two of us, not her, she's a millennial just like you. When the two of us were coming up, selling and telling was what everybody did. They told me I had to sell and tell. And you would tell about things, talk about features and benefits. Those days are long gone. It's now about getting attention and influence, because we can all find out a whole lot on our own. In the old days, you had to talk to salespeople way more than we have to. So now you have to realize that attention and influence is huge. How do you apply that immediately? When you're applying for jobs, think in terms of attention and influence. How do you get my attention if you want a job at my company? And how do you influence my thoughts? The No BS Marketing Show is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/nobs. Try a book like Ask Gary Vee, One Entrepreneur's Take on Leadership, Social Media, and Self-Awareness. You can download it for free today. Go to audibletrial.com/nobs. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nobs for your free audiobook. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Thanks for joining us for the No BS Marketing Show. Visit masssolutions.biz/bold solutions for show notes plus additional marketing and messaging resources. Are you signed up for light reading? You'll receive timely, valuable ideas to improve your marketing and transform your message. It really is light, intended to be read in 2 minutes or less, and it just might trigger bright ideas for you. To sign up again, visit masssolutions.biz, B-I-Z. Remember, ask yourself, what's the big idea? And build your story around the answer. It's all about bold solutions.